Laika. Outside of Aardman Animation, this is the biggest stop motion animation studio. Really, they might be bigger than Aardman at this point.
Oh, you've got to put some swaz on it, Gromit.
In 15 years, Laika has produced 5 films, so a new film nearly every 3 years, a pretty reasonable pipeline. That is, if the movies they were making were profitable. I don't want to dog on Laika, not at all. That is not my plan. I'm a Laika lover. Obviously, based off the title of the video, Coraline is the superior film in my eyes, and based off the lifespan of their IPs, it seems like Coraline truly is the tip of the top for Laika. Let's take some quick looks at each Laika film to understand their trajectories, and then I will jump into why I think Laika will never top Coraline. You know Coraline, we all know Coraline. If you make it into Walmart, then you have reached the stars, my guy. I don't want to spend too long here, but I just can't help myself. Coraline is based off the novel Coraline by Neil Gaiman. It follows a spunky girl who moves into the Pink Palace with her mom and dad, whether she likes it or not. In angst and boredom, she finds a door into a mirror world where everything seems perfect. Her parents are fun and lively, her neighbors are the most interesting people on the planet, but she soon learns that her mama in this world did not get her coffee, so Coraline has to save her world while not getting some buttons on her eyes. Awesome, great, you probably knew all that, but the thing to note with Coraline is the tone and significance of the film. This baby was directed by Henry Selick, director of Nightmare Before Christmas, James and the Giant Peach, and the box office bomb Monkey Bone.
Ooh, I wanna be loved by you.
Coraline was not only a start to Laika, but a jump back into the life of Henry Selick. The film released in February 2009 and was a hit. Great critic scores and over $100 million at the box office. The tone of the film tickled all the emo hearts, bringing a magical whimsy into this sinister background. The tone is pretty synonymous with stop motion animation. A common fear I hear is that people were always afraid of stop motion movies. Hell, I was. I didn't watch this film until I was a freshman in high school. Coraline has stayed in pop culture due to its amazing score, direction, story, and most importantly, its importance in the stop motion animated landscape. 2009 gave us Coraline and Fantastic Mr.Fox, 2 movies at the top of the stop motion drama. So we gotta hit Laika. What's next? You know when studios make a surprise hit, so they just pump out the same movie, pump. Well, Laika didn't do that. Admittedly, yes, this is about a kid who has access to another world, but this carried over the necessary elements of Coraline and made it its own thing. I think stop motion works amazingly in the creepy setting. They don't even really have to try to make it feel creepy, and there will still be a feeling of a weirdo breathing down your neck. The film follows Norman, who is a social outcast loner who has his best friend Rowley, and he can also see dead people. Norman struggles to feel supported by his family until his power is the only thing that is going to save his town from zombies and a crazy witch. I love this movie. I think this is nearly as good as Coraline. This for sure feels more mature than Coraline. Banger score and amazing sense of humor. This is exactly what a follow-up to Coraline should have been. It made just about the same amount of money as Coraline, and once again got great reviews, even beating Tim Burton's Frankenweenies in 2012 at the box office. Okay, so 2 for 2, now what's the move? In 2014, the Boxtrolls released, taking the British to the underground.
Awesome! We're not British!
This movie follows Eggs, a human orphan who was taken in by the Boxtrolls. These British babies live underneath the city of Cheesebridge, the most average British town name, where there is a monopoly of cheese happening. Wonka ripped this movie off.
Well, there's chocolate!
This movie signifies the shift in Laika, where instead of creepier leaning stories, we now have a more comedy leaning story. I don't really think this film is that funny though. Eggs is a very likable protagonist and the Boxtrolls are pretty darn cute, but other than that, the story falls short for me. Not a lot of memorable moments in this film, which may just be my opinion, but this was the lowest rated film for Laika up to this point. We had big names attached and some outstanding animation, but that is just a sad downside to stop motion.
Got a theory? I can walk through walls. Whoa, whoa.
We're safe now, kids.
So much heart is put into crafting every little detail by hand, but if the story falls flat, then it can make all that work not get the recognition it should get, because no matter the medium, if the story is lackluster, then the film is lackluster. It is definitely not a horrible movie, and it still has some positive reviews and made some money at the box office, but who ever talks about this film like a Coraline? Commercial break really fast. What's up, Bubble Butts? I just wanted to say a real quick thank you guys so much for the awesome love that y'all gave on the new Velma ranking. There's a lot of you guys that are really new, so welcome. I hope you're staying and enjoying it. I will be making a 500 sub video very soon, trying to just figure out an idea. But thanks for sticking around this long. I just want to promote my buds, the Cosmic Cowboy and Infinite Repeat. They make amazing content, and we have a podcast together. Be sure to check them out. Okay, back to Laika. This is the heaviest and most mature film Laika has made to date. Did you cry? I cried. Alright. Oh my god, I gotta call my mom, man. Let Kubo shred on a 7-string, man. This film follows Kubo, who lost his parents and tries to live a simple life, but after unleashing a boom boom on his village, he has to team up with Monkey and Beetle. This film slaps and slaps and slaps. I love the twists and turns of the film. It is absolutely heartbreaking and mind-blowing for a kid's film. I really don't want to spoil anything, but watch this. Kubo released in 2016 to rave reviews, but sadly this was Laika's lowest grossing film up to that point. This movie is such an interesting idea that I can see was a hard sell to general audiences. If this was a Studio Ghibli film, then this would be winning right now. This film signifies the hard line that Laika is now having to follow. Coraline and Paranorman fit the medium perfectly. The Boxtrolls makes a lighthearted adventure that not necessarily will never work, but it's a harder sell since kids think it looks creepy, but teens and adults think it looks kiddie. Then we get Kubo, where it's a little too mature for kids and a harder sell to general audiences. I hate that the world works like this, but it's a harsh life of Hollywood. Support this film, you nerds. Lastly, we got the most recent film, Missing Link. Movie had a fun trailer, a fun premise, a dope title, and the one, the only, Zach Galifianakis.
I'm not that fat. Lost 9 pounds.
Missing Link is definitely the simplest of the premises up to this point, just an explorer who found Bigfoot and their wacky journey with cool characters along the way. Oh man, okay. I actually think this movie fails in a lot of ways. The brighter colors and whimsical music creates a fun, quirky atmosphere, but damn, this movie is, how would you say? Boring! I really don't think Laika has nailed the comedies. Paranorman is really funny, but it's not the main focal point of the film, so the funny points really stand out. For Missing Link and Boxtrolls, they don't really land a lot of the time. Comparing this to Boxtrolls, the tone and visuals make a much more fun viewing, but the story is even more lackluster here. This is the first Laika film to not have a child in the lead. Instead, we have Bigfoot. It's not necessary for Laika to have kids in the lead, but I do think that having 2 adults and a hairy adult probably wasn't hyping the kids off the block, which is really stupid to say and sadly should not be that way, but I mean, Missing Link had a budget of $100 million, 50 more than Coraline, and made a whopping $26.6 million at the box office. Oh no! A certified box office bomb. I didn't even realize this, but it got really good reviews. Still, it came and went. The next film in Laika's filmography is Wildwood, that comes out at some point. That's for you to know, not me. And I just saw that Awkwafina is a part of the cast. Awkwafina, will you please leave me alone? So now that we got a breakdown of all the films, let's talk about why I think Laika will never surpass Coraline. Firstly, stop motion is a hard sell no matter the film. There are more flops than hits in the stop motion world, so without just a bit of luck, the film is gonna lose the studio money and lots of time.
But I have horrible luck with women.
I'm having a really nice time.
You have a little something on your face. Ooh, wait. That's the part of your face.
Secondly, I think Laika pigeonholed their audience. The quirky, whimsical, creepy stories like Coraline and Paranorman are what the hot topic people like me eat up, yet they're still accessible to general audiences. I'll always go see a stop motion film, but for some reason we all remember the stories that add a bit of creepiness to them. Early Man, anyone? Man, I wish that movie was good. I love soccer and men who bonk each other. Kubo was an amazing story, but a hard sell. Again, I think a story that Studio Ghibli would be able to sell. But for the studio that made Coraline, this is a very mature story that is once again so damn good! Thirdly, animation. Coraline stood out at the time when 3D movies like Monsters vs. Aliens and Planet 51 were the competition. Now we have the Spider-Verse films, TMNT, The Last Wish, so many animated movies that are setting the animation bar incredibly high. I think stop motion can stand out still in this climate, but the last movie, Missing Link, came out in 2019 and we still don't have a follow-up 5 years later. We had Window and Wild that wasn't a Laika film, but was done by Coraline's director. It premiered on Netflix and kinda came and went. That's really the only notable stop motion film to come out since then. Don't get me started on Mad God. Holy crap, I just remembered Guillermo del Toro's Pinocchio. Fourthly, marketing. TikTok has boomed and changed how movies are marketed. Laika has no experience in this, and I don't imagine their movies are going to be easier to sell on TikTok. The studio gets better and better each film visually, but that means bigger and bigger budgets and time. I didn't know that the son of Nike's president is the CEO of Laika. No Coraline Jays? I think that Nike is the only reason the studio is still staying afloat. So Laika has been re-releasing Coraline and Paranorman every year, which is a smart idea to keep some cash flowing in, just like the Ghibli Fest is. But I'm watching Coraline 5 years in a row before I see a new film. I'm not blaming them, I want them to take their time. But that just makes it a bigger risk that if the film doesn't succeed, then so much money and resources were wasted. Not wasted in the fans' eyes, but to investors, you know? Coraline is such a cultural phenomenon because of its tone characters and tone, and really the time it came out. I want Wildwood to blow the smoke out of the water, but it has to learn from the past 5 films and craft something that can steal babies' minds from Minions. I love you, Laika. I want you to succeed, and God, I want to go to your museum, so make that happen, and then I can provide a high five. What do y'all think? Think I'm just being a pessimist, or do you think Laika is all downhill from here, or do you think Laika will find its footing? I'm not saying that Laika's going and screwed with Wildwood, but there's just a lot of obstacles they're going to have to overcome, especially after their last film bombed. I definitely don't want Laika to become a Netflix studio. I want big budget animated stop motion features on the big screen. Now I want it now! But either way, are there any other reasons that y'all can think of? What do you think that they could do to set themselves apart? Like and subscribe, TheShoogyShoo.